Hi and welcome to Urban Flower Collective. My name's Lisa and I'm your host here. So today we're going to be looking at how to make a magnolia, and this is the quick fire session. If you want to be taught step by step in real time, then there is a full size video on how to make this flower in the videos. But this is the quick fire version, which has been really edited down just to give you a flavour, if you're confident with sugar flowers, a flavour of how I make it. So thanks for watching, I hope you enjoy it. Remember to subscribe and click the notifications buttons because there'll be lots more quick fire as well as long videos coming up. So I'm going to start off with some white flower paste. I've rolled this out to level 8 on my pasta machine. You can see the lines of the cutting mat through it. And I'm going to cut out 3 small magnolia petals and then 6 larger magnolia petals. You can make this as big or as small as you like, but as long as you've got 3 a little bit smaller and 6 larger. I'm popping these in my protective petal wallet and I'm going to start to thin out the very edges. If you don't have one of these, you can use a plastic document wallet. I'm using a boning tool, which I find really easy to use, but you can also use a ball tool or a cell pin to do this. Next, I'm going to take some 26 gauge wire. I need 9 pieces of this, and I'm going to pop some very sticky flower paste on the end of each in a little twirl. And this is how we're going to attach our petals to the wire. The paste needs to be super sticky for this, so if your paste is dried out, it all gets some fresh paste. Then we're going to take our veining tool, so our magnolia veiner. I'm going to pop the wire just to the base of the petal and put it on the back of the petal because these are our centre petals and we'll probably see the inside of them. So we're going to put the wire on the back. And I'm just going to press down with a veiner and that will attach the wire to each petal. Then I'm going to bring over some foam or some sponge. I'm just going to run around the edges of each petal with a Dresden tool, and this just brings the edges of the petal in and gives it a little bit of shape. Then we're going to pinch the bottom, pinch the top and lay it on a dessert spoon to dry, and this will give our nice magnolia petal shape. We're going to do exactly the same for the larger ones, but this time I'm going to be putting the wire on the inside because with this magnolia we're going to see the outside of the petals more, so I want the wire to be on the inside. Obviously, if you were making a more open magnolia, then you could put the petals on the back because you'd be seeing the inside of the petal more. And we're going to do exactly the same, just shape those edges in using a Dresden tool, pinch it at the bottom and pinch it at the top. Now you can see I've just trimmed the very base of these petals because I found them a little bit too bulky when I was trying to tape it up. So I'm just trimming them off with a cutting wheel or an X-Acto blade. You play it by ear. If yours aren't as thick at the bottom, then you probably don't need to do this. So I'm just attaching the wires to all 6 petals. Then we'll leave these to dry, and this paste that I've used is ultrafine, Simply Heaven Ultrafine, and it dries fairly quickly. So while they're drying and while they're resting on the spoons to get the nice shape, we can make our centre. So to make the centre, we need to take a bit larger than a pea-sized ball of flower paste, and we're going to roll that into a cone shape. Then I'm going to heat up some 20 gauge wire with a blowtorch. You can use a gas hob or a candle to do the same. Just heats up the wire and it means it sticks into the fondant or into the flower paste much better. Next, I'm taking some dressmaking scissors or some nail scissors and I'm cutting into the centre to give it some texture. Then we need to make some stamen to go around the edge, and for this you can either use some dressmaker's thread as you see here and just dust it up yellow, or you can use my preferred method is using some florist tape, and I twirl it round into string and then cut that into little stamen, and I find it much more flexible. I've tried to make these little stamen with sugar paste before, flower paste before, and they just break, they're too brittle and snap. Then we need to dust up our centre, and we're going to dust it up with, this is moss green and sunset yellow. You can use whichever green and yellow you like. And as you can see, I'm just going to cut up my florist tape into little stamen and I'm going to attach them to the centre. This is how I make the string. I just twirl around some florist tape. I'm going to dust this up yellow and I shall attach it to the centre. I find this flexible so you can manoeuvre your stamen around and get them in the place that you want them to be without them breaking off. So once we've got our centre sorted, we can start to dust up our petals. So I'm starting with the small ones, and less is more with this. It's a very bright pink. I'm using bubblegum pink from Edible Art, and I'm just starting at the base and just working my way up into sort of an ombre effect. Now you can leave it at that, or you can put a little vein up the middle like you can see I'm doing here. I think that gives a bit more interest to your magnolia, and the magnolias I was using for inspiration had a line up the centre of each petal. So we're going to do this for all 9 petals. And then once they're done, we'll bring over our centre and start to tape it up. So to tape up, I'm using half width brown tape. And this will give us our branch effect. I'm going to start off with the smallest ones and just tape them equally spaced around the centre. So the first 3 on first, and then we're going to just fill in the gaps with the other 6. And as I say, I'm keeping this quite a closed magnolia, so you do see the backs of the petals rather than the insides. So that's why we put our wire on the insides. Obviously, if you're making it more open, you can put the wire on the outside of the petals. So once we've got that all taped up, I'd like to add on a calyx just to finish it off. The calyx on a magnolia is brown. So I'm just going to use the petal cutter and make 2 little oval shaped calyx. I'm going to thin them out a little bit in my wallet and then attach them. So magnolia calyx are often quite hairy. If you want to add flock, you can to this. But because this is going to go on a cake, on a wedding cake, I'm not going to add flock. I'm just going to leave it brown. And then I'm going to add some little bumps into the branch using just some paper and then tape over it with the brown florist tape. And I'm also going to twirl up, as you can see, the florist tape just to make some little offshoots. Then I'm going to make a bud with some brown sugar paste, and that is our magnolia.